Many of you know me through my poetry that I post on Facebook and some of the books that I produced. And for me, poetry only begins with an image. All of my poems that I've written have always started with an image, and here in Milan I was able to produce a poem in the Brera area. I was just walking by a shop front that was a florist. A lady there was strewing petals on the ground before her florist shop, just to give it a little bit more of an ambience, and the image just caught me, and I had to stop for a moment and take a series of photographs until I felt that I got the right one. And when I did, and when I sat down to review them, I saw instantly a poem, and I needed to write it, so I did. I knew a girl once, and she told me this story. She was in love, and then he moved on. She was still in love. She called him, she begged. He said, "You can do better than this." Only later, when she healed, did she notice he said this, looking deep and lovingly into his own mirror. She ate and she drank, she read 12 steps, blah, blah, blah. One morning, the latch on the window came undone, as if an angel or cracking paint slid it open. A ray of light just perfectly placed on her eye to her lip. Just like that, she went on a man diet. As she told me this story, my male eyes glazed over. Just get over it, I said to myself. Of course, faced with the same series of events, well, I ruined and I rued, and I basically mega collapsed. Though no way I was gonna tell her I'm weak for the same pheromones in male skin and chocolate. She didn't look like her story that night. Light and a sparkle and a lift in her eye. I knew intimately, like the labels in underwear know our backside, what she lost to gain so much. In bed later that night, I closed my eyes. I cried like a toilet rush of water. All that shit. Yes, I know exactly why. Despite how well she's doing now, there's this twist in her stomach when she sees a field of flowers. What was, what might have been, what's over. I cried because she is young and beautiful and will love again, yet she knows what it feels like to let go. She knows that she walks on the fragrant path of the possible made petal by what falls from our grasp. She will love again. I will love again, but the bloom has moved from what one can give to us. It's now encased in our own embrace. I cried because I realized that is the most powerful thing in the world, to be our own seed. Yet with that comes a heavy responsibility. Knowing we must push through layers of dirt to reach the light in our eyes. Milano is a wonderful mix of the urban and the ancient. I took a little tram here to the center. Behind me, though you can't really see it because of the glare, is the Duomo. There it is. I think I will walk over there. Right past there is the Palazzo Reale, which is having an exhibition of Manet, one of the painters that I really enjoy from the 1800s. One of the fathers of the Impressionism movement. And I can just imagine painters when they first started to paint out of doors, and they were just inundated with all these images that they could now take. Hold on, I gotta take a photo. Photo. Milan has its own special flavor here in Italy. It's not replicated anywhere else that I know of or that I've visited. And today I'm just going to wander the street. And this is not an uncommon scene in Europe. You're just walking along, see things like this. It's just one of the things that you see here in Europe, and you just get sort of used to it. It's just the way of the world. We're gonna go towards the Duomo. I'm going to wait until Palazzo Reale opens and see some Manet. Like I haven't seen enough of it in my lifetime. When you travel as much as I do sometimes, a lot of places start to blur together, and you start to lose your bearings a little bit. Where did I see this? Where did I see that? But I'll never forget about 6 years ago when I first came to Milan for the very first time and came up the metro steps, and what appeared before me was an amazing place that I'll never forget. I'll never forget that moment. It brought me to tears, and that is the landmark, the Duomo. One of the pleasures of traveling is seeing museums, and especially here in Europe, a lot of the museums, art museums, are located in old palazzos and old villas. So it's a chance to see some history, and it's a chance to see some art. And even though I've seen a lot of this art through my travels, especially the Manet exhibit that I'm going to visit now, it's always amazing to see these artworks in new settings and to see how the curators have decided to show the art. It makes art a living, breathing entity that is forever new. And, you know, it's sort of like that Barbra Streisand song, Evergreen. Everything always is fresh and new when you surround yourself in a new surrounding. So I'm going to enjoy some art time now. I don't think that I'll be able to do any videotaping when I'm inside, but I'm going to just enjoy and soak up the ambiance and visit some old friends on the wall. And I wore my large jacket today, so if there's a canvas or two that I think I can dismantle in record time and get the art into my jacket, I might as well go ahead and get that done too. I do have a blank wall at home that I'm looking for a Manet or a Monet or a Van Gogh. I don't know. I'll see what I see, and I'll see what appeals to me. I just finished seeing the Manet exhibit. It makes me think that the Impressionists in the 1800s were the very first YouTubers. I say that because when you look at all their paintings, you realize that they were making impressions about themselves when they were happy or sad, or even when they were sick. And they also were showing them their friends and families. And even imagine that some of the landscapes and vistas that they did of the buildings that were going up in their time were sort of like the first drone footage. It's, you know, they used what was available to them, much like we are using what's available to us. Technology that exists now makes us see things in a lot different ways. These Impressionist painters were no different than what's happening on YouTube now. Now it's time to visit the rest of Milan. Let's go! Of course, no trip to a big metro area is complete without going to the Leica store. For those of you that don't know, Leica is a German brand of camera. Starting price is about, I'd say $3,000 to $4,000 for the camera body. And I have made it a mission that when I get to 100,000 subscribers, please, please, please subscribe, I'm going to buy my very first Leica. It probably will be a nice addition to the shelf that I have of cameras that I never use. But if I get the, maybe take one or two photos with a Leica in my lifetime, I'd be a pretty happy guy. Actually, to tell you the truth, I'm already a pretty happy guy. I remember almost 6 years ago when I first came to Milano. It was raining and storming and I didn't know where I was, and I had a really crappy phone at the time that didn't have good Wi-Fi, couldn't connect, had no place to stay, I didn't know what I was going to do. And it just so happened that I met a really nice gentleman here. His name is Bess. I haven't talked to him in recent times. About once a year we talk by WhatsApp. But I remember distinctly when we met that he was kind enough to show me some of the sights of Milan. And I remember most distinctively when we came here to the Duomo. And at the base of the Duomo here is the water fountain. And I was amazed because I didn't know anything about this at the time. He went ahead and just took a sip of water from here. And I remember it like it was yesterday. The very first time that I realized that you could sip water from the streets. I always like to see all these streets that have these interesting stores filled with art. It's nice to see that there's people that are creating things instead of destroying things. We need to appreciate and to make sure that we support these sorts of expressions, because without them life would be a little bit less rich. Say that my trip here to Milano this time has been extremely enjoyable, and I think it's all because of you. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next time on the very next See You in the World. Ciao! If you're ever feeling blue, I have the antidote for you. I just wanted to take this moment and say thank you so very much for watching my videos here on YouTube. It's encouraging me to continue to do so, and I hope to share more of the world with you as I continue on this journey. So come along, and thank you again for your subscriptions, your comments, your I likes. They all encourage me to do better and better and to share more and more. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!